Welcome to Techstination. Joining me is Ian Plant at the Out of Oregon Landscape Photography Conference created by Out of Chicago. And Ian is one of the terrific photography instructors here and a tremendous pro. Thanks for joining us, Ian.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. And I just want to say you have a great voice for radio. I've been told that I have a great face for radio, so I think that'll work out just fine then.
I think that's my line, but we'll keep on going. But we just came back from an area here in Oregon on the Oregon coast called the Devil's Punch Bowl. And you led a group of people there to shoot there and learn. Give us a little bit of an overview of what this particular location is like for people who've never been there.
Well, here along the Oregon coast, there are a lot of rocky cliffs and sea stacks and other features that are on the shoreline. So it's a really great place for landscape photography. And this particular area, the Punch Bowl, is this basically this deep depression. There's cliffs surrounding it on three sides. You can get in from the beach, and there is a small arch, an opening in the cliff that allows the water to come through. So at low tide, you can get into this feature and you can see the arch and see the water coming in. At high tide, the whole thing floods, and you really don't want to be there. So
we got out just in time.
Yes.
So tell me your story, Ian, how you got into this. Everybody seems to have an interesting tale to tell.
Well, I've been a professional photographer now for 15 years. Before that, I was a lawyer for 8 years, which most people cannot believe because I am not the kind of person who acts serious about anything. So the thought of me overseeing multi-billion-dollar mergers between companies just seems very much out of character. But
why give that up and turn to photography? What was it?
Well, pretty simple. I hated being a lawyer, and I love being a photographer. Actually, I didn't know I loved being a photographer until I went to law school. And my first summer in law school, I worked for a firm in New York City. First time in my life I really made some money, so at the end of the summer, I bought a camera. And I realized then that I had just made a huge $100,000 mistake. I love photography, but I had this expensive legal education that I knew I had to pay off. And so for 8 years, I worked half-heartedly as a corporate lawyer in Washington, D.C., paid off my law school debt, saved up a little bit of money, and then just burned my bridges behind me. I quit my job and decided never to look back. I didn't even keep my bar association membership, and I decided that I was just going to go for it and that I was going to either sink or swim.
And did you have family and friends who maybe thought you were a little nuts for doing this?
Well, they all thought I was a little nuts before I did this, so this was completely in character. Actually, everyone knew for a long time that this is what I wanted to do, so it didn't really come as a surprise when it happened, though I think the timing was a little off. I remember coming home, talking to my wife, and I said, "Honey, I just put in my 2 weeks' notice. I couldn't take it anymore." And she looked at me, and then she said, "You were supposed to be my sugar daddy." She's actually a lawyer, so now she's my sugar mama.
So you still have a lawyer in the family?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Well, tell me about the areas that you've specialized in, basically landscape photography, and why.
Well, I do a mix. I'm more of a generalist. I started off specializing in landscape, but over the years I realized that it wasn't just beautiful landscapes that I love to photograph. I really just like making amazing photographs. So I started chasing amazing photographs no matter what the subject was. So now I do wildlife, I do travel photography. Every now and then when I'm in the mood, I might dabble in some urban and street photography. So I've become much more of a generalist, which I think is good because I think it's when you cross over into different genres that you really learn the art and craft of photography. So being able to try things that challenge the way I see the world, that forced me to do a different approach for my photography makes every aspect of my photography better.
And your decision to share your knowledge, you and the other terrific photographers here at the Out of Oregon Conference, tell me about that, why you like to do that.
Well, I've always been a know-it-all, and I really just don't shut up. I'm always giving my opinions about things, and someone said, you could probably make money off of that by sharing your knowledge with other photographers. So that's pretty much how I got into it. But, sorry.
There are people really at all levels here who come to a conference like this and want to learn. So you may be talking to people who have 20, 30 years experience in photography, and you may have some people who, like you were when you quit the law, who just picked it up.
Yeah, whether someone is new to photography or whether they've been doing it for a while, what I really think my job is to try to get people to see the world in a different way, to kind of push past their comfort zone and to really learn how to be more creative. So there's a lot of folks who have been photographing for a long time, and I think they can appreciate a fresh perspective on things, and that's what I'm trying to provide.
And you've got a website where people who are listening to this can go to also and take advantage of your knowledge. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can visit my personal website, which is ianplant.com, or you can visit the new photo brand I just launched, shuttermonkeys.com. It's a really fun website, and we've got great instructional videos that are real exciting to watch from exotic locations all around the world, lots of great articles and free photo tips, lots of free resources that will help people become better photographers. And then there's also some paid resources that are more advanced, kind of the premium resources on the site.
And do you kind of have a stock line that you like to tell people about if they say, how do I take better pictures?
That's a good question, and I wish there was an easy answer to that. The answer that I do give to that question is practice, practice, practice. And that, of course, is kind of intuitive, but for me, I found that when I immerse myself in the craft of photography, that's when my photography gets better. It's got to become more than just a hobby. It's got to become a passion and a lifestyle. If you really want to make expressive photographs that get noticed, you have to just immerse yourself and practice, practice, practice as much as possible.
Ian Plant, thanks so much for taking the time with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Cooking with the power of the sun. Hi, I'm Fred Fishkin, here to tell you about the latest innovation from my friend Patrick Sherwin and his great team at GoSun Stove. The GoSun Fusion has arrived using the company's tried and true reflectors and a solar vacuum tube to get you cooking without the mess of charcoal, heavy propane tanks, or smoke. A really bright idea. And with an optional solar panel and battery storage and the ability to plug in at home or on the road, you really can use the GoSun Fusion to cook anytime and anywhere, day or night, rain or shine. I love what Patrick and his team are doing, and so will you. Want to learn more? Head to gosun.co to check out all of the company's products and innovations, and use the code Techstination to save 10%. That's gosun.co.